yo, welcome to another episode of Off the Beaten Path, your new favorite podcast. And today we have Shoefinger. How's it going, man?
Hey, it's going great. How are you guys?
Doing lovely.
That's great to hear.
And I love your background, by the way.
Here.
You're the first guest to have ever done that.
Yeah, I mean, we're out here in wherever the northern lights are, probably like Iceland.
I like Iceland. Yeah, I feel like I'm in Iceland, son of a
bitch. I can't compare with Nate, though.
Nah, dude, you got it, man. You definitely take the cake on this one. But give us a little explanation on who you are, what you do, and what your music's about.
For sure. Yeah, well, my given name is Fernando. I'm from Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. I was raised in San Diego. Grew up not very musical family, but like a dancing family that's really into listening to music, not necessarily musicians, but people listening to a lot of music to dance to, like samba, salsa, mambo, guaguancó, even like reggaeton and cumbia and stuff like that. So those are the kind of rhythms that I came up on, and I eventually started playing guitar through the like high school church band and stuff, and started getting into regular bands. Went to college, kept mastering my craft, started producing. Pretty much here, 25 now.
Oh yeah, man. And I mean, like, with you not really having, a musical background in your family, you said like dancing and y'all were listening to music in the household, but
yeah,
what made you want to pick up the guitar, in high school or whatever?
Well, my parents put me in piano lessons when I was when we first came to the US. So when I was like 5 or 6, no, later, probably like 7, I think. And I was kind of with the piano, but I was like a very strict, like classical piano lady, like Spanish lady, very intense. And I didn't really like the curriculum very much, even though I liked the piano itself. I only liked I only liked playing like songs that I knew, and songs like the Mario theme song and shit like that. Like I liked video game music, and I didn't really want to play the kind of booklet piano stuff. And
you didn't want to play Beethoven's Fifth. You wanted to play some
yeah, and the crazy thing is I like the classical music itself. I like Bach and Beethoven and stuff like that. It's just that I wanted to learn at my own pace, and I wanted to start off learning with stuff that I could more directly relate to. Probably I don't know if I could have expressed that at the time because I was like 7, but there was at that same music studio, there was right next door, like you could overhear through the walls, there was a classical guitar class with another guy, and that sounded much cooler than what I was doing every time I was going. So I ended up taking like 2 or 3 lessons with that guy, and I bought a guitar downstairs at the little guitar store. But I eventually actually quit like after like 2 lessons because I didn't really like that guy either. So I just took my guitar home, and then I went on YouTube and started learning like the Iron Man song and shit like that. Just started teaching myself.
Oh yeah, we're both self-taught from the internet too, and
yeah.
Now, I wish, like, I never took lessons, so I don't know what my experience would have been like. But I feel like if you're a teacher of an art, find out what your students are interested in and start at that spot. That way you can gain their trust, gain their attention, and then take them down the path of classical training if that's where you think they should go. But,
yeah,
like,
definitely.
if you want to learn video game
music,
like learn that first because you're gonna be more interested in it.
Yeah, I think if I had been introduced to like the instrument in a way that was like what do you like to play? Like, let's learn how to play that. I would have been happy like learning with a one-on-one with a teacher instead of like, on my fucking iPod Touch on YouTube.
Yeah, because like for me, I went to music school for a year, and I was a musician before I got there for several years. But I went for production. They were like, "Hey, what kind of music do you like to listen to? What do you want to produce?" And that's where we started at, even at like a school that I paid for. So I enjoyed that experience a lot.
Yeah, that's better, much better.
Hell yeah, man! And you just came out with a project today, and 10-song project, really good. Do you feel like this
Appreciate
is your best? Oh, of course, man. do you feel like this is your best piece of work as of yet, or do you feel like maybe some of your other projects or even singles maybe top it?
I think this is probably the best for sure. I mean, it's just I try to get better, so I feel like whatever the most recent one is going to be the best. Like I like I know some people feel like nostalgic about like their like early work or some or stuff like that, but in the last couple of years, I've gotten much better at producing music. Like even though I've been producing since I was like 17 or something, like in the last 2-3 years of the pandemic, basically, I've gotten much better at producing and mixing and like actually understanding audio engineering and stuff like that. So I think the end result is something that sounds like, you know, even if you like remove the musical element, like just the production, I feel like sounds much better. It's much more listenable because, you know, I'm my own worst critic when it comes to like the quality of the music that I'm putting out. So even just like going back and listening to my recorded music in the past and being like, oh, that's a really cool melody, but like, oh, there's like a frequency right here that's like really bothering me. Whereas like most people are just like, oh, that's an interesting song, but I'm like, fuck, I can't listen to this.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the range of like home producers. Like you have some out there like very good musically, but like listenability is just like, woo, you should have sent that off. But
Yeah.
yours comes across in good in both arenas. Like musically it's really good, but also it's very listenable too.
I appreciate that. That's been the challenge recently, you know, just having a home studio and not like, and just really the recording gear that most people have, trying to make the most of it.
And so today, what's the translation for that?
It means like I will be, like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna be.
Mm.
I like that. I like that. That's kind of like I am. You know, a lot of people think that I am, those two words are like very powerful. Like I am all encompassing. I am God. I am He. You know, I am Him.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
I like that. You know, I didn't know what it meant, but I like the translation to I will be.
Yeah. It's just like a combination of how I've been feeling the last couple of years, and just like that all combined is just like a trajectory, you know. It feels like a direction, and that's like a place where I'm going to be in the future. Yeah.
Fuck you, man. I like that. Yeah. And I the reason I originally asked the question, like, do you think this is your best project so far, is because listening to all of your music as much as I could, I feel like this is your best project. You know, like
I agree. And I've been submitting music to like streaming shit since that was like a thing you could do that I knew about. So some of the stuff that's up there early is like really terribly produced, you know. Like in my opinion. So like yeah, even I wouldn't go all the way back.
yeah, I mean, you were learning, like, and that's why I like is you can tell that you were learning, and you can tell that you have studied your craft, and you can see the evolution. So I love that shit, man.
Yeah, and you can really tell like between albums really and between EPs is when I have like upgraded some sort of software or hardware thing. Like right before Estuve was the first project where I got everything into Fruity Loops and like kind of was starting to learn how to mix stuff. Because before that I was really on like an iPad with GarageBand on it, and I was just mixing on that. And I had the iRig, and I was just like plugging in my guitar to the iPad and recording all the stuff there, playing drums like.
Yeah. And that's one thing I like about. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, yeah. Then once I finally translated everything to a DAW, like Fruity Loops, that's when I was able to put out Estuve. And then once I realized that Ableton was a little bit better for my workflow. All Seré was the first album that was like all Ableton mixed and produced stuff. So it's just like every album is also sound sonically different because it was pretty much made in a different DAW, each one.
And Ableton's very interesting. Like I never got good with Ableton. I was more a fan of Reason when it came to producing, but the triggering and all the different sequencing things you can do in Ableton is really cool.
Yeah, mostly for me it was like transient shaping and like the audio editing stuff. that you can do with samples like as they're coming in.
And
Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, kind of like with Ableton, it lends itself well for doing electronic music live, Ableton Live.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you thought about, like, for a live setting, what instruments you would play live versus triggering in Ableton?
Yeah, so I would probably play guitar live, maybe bass live, depending on the song, and uh, and then I have a launch pad that I can just trigger samples on, or I could just trigger whole tracks. I was thinking like if I export like stems of just like instrument tracks, like like the whole acid bass section on a song, or the whole like the entire drum track on a song, like across kind of shifts and drum patterns. I can just, have that coming in on different channels and put effects on them and trigger them and mute them and fade them in and out, and like also play guitar. So my ideal show would be somewhere between like a DJ set and a guitar performance.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I've never seen anything like that.
I think that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What other instruments do you play? I know you started off, taking lessons with piano. You're like, fuck this teacher. But besides guitar and bass, like, what other physical instruments do you play?
I'd say guitar, bass, keys, and synths. I consider synths like even a different instrument, especially just because each synthesizer is really hard to learn, to master, and like even like drum synthesizers, a whole different beast from like playing drums.
Can you explain that a little bit more, like the difference between like keys and synthesizer?
Yeah, so like the movement that you can get with synthesizers really comes from like the filters and changing the cutoffs on the filters, and just really learning what all the buttons do, because the synthesizers have like 1,000 fucking buttons on them. But like learning how all those different, it depends if it's like a modular or just a regular synth, like learning how all of the different parameters affect each other and how you can use them in combinations to like create different textures of the sound, not just like different melodies. So like on a keyboard, I have a keyboard in front of me, so that's why I'm just doing this. But yeah, like I have like a regular analog keyboard, like a Yamaha keyboard that has like effects, like has a tremolo and chorus and delay and reverb, but it has no way to change like the transient, or like the filter of that comes in on the sound. It changes like the texture of this actual sound. I mean, I guess like choruses detune the sound, so it just like a chorus is just a version of the signal copied and detuned and played at the same time, but you're not really, that does change the overall texture, but like the synthesizers, you're putting a filter on the sound and moving that filter around, and it can create a lot more movement. So like it's one thing to be playing the actual music, and then it's another thing that you have to think about to be playing the filters and playing with the movement of the texture of the melody that you're playing. So it's like playing two keyboards at the same time, but one is just knobs.
Right.
I was thinking about that the other day, just with like stomp pedals for guitar and bass.
Yeah. Stomp guitar effects pedals are the same way.
Yeah,
especially if you're in like a math rock guy, like a shoegaze guy, you're always like fiddling.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the pedal is as much of the instrument as the instrument is.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Especially like I recommend, if anyone has seen Minus the Bear, the math rock band, play with pedals, like half of the show is like just them recording guitar parts and then like stomping on different parts of like a big ass green pedal, and and then like pressing different buttons to make the different song parts play at the appropriate time for the song. It's just like, it's like sampling. It's just like live sampling.
Yeah, it really is. I don't know if you've heard of him, but a guy named Steve Lawson from the UK. He does a very similar thing with bass, and a very similar style as yours. It's more of a lo-fi style.
For sure.
Yeah, I think he might. If you check him out, you probably dig his stuff. But yeah, he'll just kind of like he'll do some like atmospheric based stuff, and then he'll like do like riffs on top of it, and then just like alter those riffs with different pedals and changing the parameters. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah, I follow people that do stuff like that on Instagram, but I'll check that out for sure. Yeah, I mean, I have a big pedal board too, right? A little spaceship. And it's funny that you mentioned that because I never really thought about it like that. But it's playing guitar with a massive pedal board is kind of the same thing. You're playing a melody or rhythm part, and you're also just thinking about the texture of the sound and how to change the movement of the texture.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like what's cool about that is, it won't always sound the same every show, because if you're just playing guitar, you're playing that same note the same way every time. But if you're moving the textures and moving this knob and pushing that knob, and it's not gonna be the same.
I agree, and that's something that I want to. At least the sampling and like micro looping stuff is something that I want to get more into, because most of the pedals that I have I have a looper, but most of the stuff that I have is like that I use all the time is like reverbs and delays. And with delays, you can get like little loops, but I want to get into like the granular looping for live instrumentation, where you can just like cut like a loop into like a million different sections, and then like kind of randomly move those sections around and see what that sounds like. That can get pretty noisy. Yeah, granular delays and granular loops.
Now let me ask you this: since you are very experimental in your music, that doesn't give you a whole lot of artists to be able to choose from for like your influences. So what type of other bands or artists are you listening to that you glean like influence from?
I'd say, I mean, they don't really have to be experimental. In my case, I listen to a lot of dance music, so a lot of that stuff is, top in the charts. Like I really like Disclosure and stuff like that. Apart from like the experimental stuff, but like the biggest influences happen probably are like from either from math rock or from like the sort of instrumental rock scene, or electronic music, drum and bass and stuff like that. So I would say that's a good dividing line, because there unfortunately is not much crossover, which is that's what I'm trying to do really. So it's like you either take from the rock side or take from the electronic side, because there's just not that much crossover that I actually listen to. It does exist, like rock, EDM, fusion stuff, but I don't really like most of it. So yeah, I mean, from the instrumental rock side, I would say like bands like Chan and Covet and let's see, Don Caballero and Hella, like older math rock bands, Farrakhan and Piglet, that stuff. And then I listen to a bunch of like emo ass drum and bass, like Sewer Slut, like most recently like Pink Panthers, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, and I kind of want to talk about Jaded Optimist, that song of
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask you because like it almost sounds like the guitar is on the brink of crying the whole time.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't sound the same at all, but it kind of reminds me of Maggot Brain by Funkadelic.
Bro. That's what it's based on. That's what it's you hit the nail on the head.
What?
Yeah, it's based on Maggot Brain. That's one of my favorite songs ever.
Nate is so good at doing that shit.
Crazy.
Yeah, bro. Eddie Hazel is probably like top 2 guitarists for me.
Bro, what the fuck? Yeah, I was drunk last night listening to it.
Yeah, you're gonna catch that. You're definitely gonna catch that if you're faded.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So you said it's based off that song, but like, what were you feeling when you sat down to actually write that song?
The song itself, I mean, the guitar part is improvised. It's all one take.
Oh shit.
So I didn't think about it really. It was, and I thought I was gonna chop that into like a million pieces and like make some sort of glitchy electronic song with it. But the end product sounded so like monstrous and like monolithic. I feel like I couldn't cut it into different parts because it's just all I did was I have the freeze pedal. I don't know if you've seen that pedal where you just you play a note and you press the button on the pedal and it holds that note indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
So all I did is I played a note and then just improvised and recorded, and that was just like for a couple of weeks I was just kind of generating samples, generating melodies and saving them all and not really doing producing or doing anything with them. It was just like I like working in periods of like creation and then periods of arrangement, and as opposed to like creation arrangement like all in one day like that. It feels like if I have to, I'll do that in a time crunch, but if I'm making my own music and I'm not working on mixing someone else's song or producing for someone else, I would rather just have like a week where I'm just only writing guitar parts and recording. I'm not doing anything with them. And that was just one of those times when I sat down to record. That's what came out of me. I must have been having a hard ass day.
Sounds like it.
And then I just put it away, and then eventually I put drums on it. I just cut up drum breaks from like probably some drum and bass sample pack, combined them.
And honestly, I related with that song a lot because what it felt like is you wanted to cry, but you're fucking holding it in. You're suppressing it for whatever reason. And I was like, bro, that is me. That is no, it doesn't have words. Like I relate to this song, you know, and it's called Jaded Optimist.
Yeah, that was me and my girlfriend sat down and came up with names for all the songs, and that was definitely a highlight because that's definitely me. Just like I have no choice but to be optimistic almost. Like it's hard for me to live with the negativity that comes from being not optimistic about situations. And I think, I don't know, some aspect of my spirituality says that being optimistic about things actually makes them, you know, come out better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
But I still am a realist, and I still see all the terrible shit that goes on in the world, and I'm very jaded about my optimism and jaded about my like the way I interact with most people that I clearly don't like, because you know I've met enough people that I feel like I have a good gauge for like who I'm gonna get along with and I'm not. So in some aspect I'm jaded about like hanging out with people, because it's very obvious to me when we're just not going to click, and I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I mean, I even have friends. 1 second, there's a truck going by. But I even have friends that like I've fucked with for a good minute, you know. But like I realize that I'm giving them my energy, but they're not giving me any energy, so I just go home drained.
Yeah,
I'm having to cut people off, and that sucks because I fucked with y'all for a minute, but
yeah, no, I mean, but like once you do that enough, it's just like, I mean, as long as you're like meeting new people and putting yourself out there at least enough to get some of those friends back that you've cut off, then like meeting more interesting people, or even if you're just retreating into yourself, like as long as you have positive thoughts about yourself and you're trying to improve yourself, like I think that's better than being in a relationship where you're you know, or a friendship where you're not getting back what you're putting in.
Yeah, 100%.
I think what happens sometimes is we're at this point in our life when we meet these people, but then we evolve past them, and it's like, oh fuck, you're still where we were 5 years ago, but I'm here now. And it happens vice versa too, where maybe they've evolved into this person and you don't do anything for them, they don't do anything for you, so it's like they have to cut you off.
Yeah, and like honestly, no hard feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just move on, especially right now. Like it's so easy to lose contact with people, and for the worse and for the better. Sometimes there's people that you realize you picked up along the way that, like, you weren't actually really that close with, and over the pandemic you can just not see them. but that's also dangerous, because you like what if that was a relationship where, like, maybe it's just a rocky period, and like they actually still care about you, or they want to make it work or whatever. But you have to just be able to read, like, people's intentions.
What sucks is I've cut people off, or they cut me off for a period of time, and then we reconnect, but what if in that time that we weren't talking, what if something happens? What if one of us die? And it's like, damn it, dude.
Yeah.
We could have reconciled this. It was a small thing, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. That's
what I mean. Like the guilt of like, maybe I could have worked this out with someone, like, before it was too late or whatever. That's something that keeps you awake.
But it's weird that it keeps us awake, because they're dead. They don't have to think or deal with it. But you're the one that's thinking about it. So it's like, bruh, who cares?
Yeah.
Where I love you or I hate you? Like, who cares? But at the same time, yeah, you that guilt is real. Why it's real, I don't know, but it is real.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, like, things coming alive again. We start meeting more people, start, like, making better friendships, or becoming the best version of yourself.
And one thing recently I've heard that has given me great solace with that is Billie Eilish. She has a little short on YouTube, and she says, one thing I love about death is I can do the best thing in the world, and one day I'm gonna die, and everybody around me is gonna die, and everybody that ever knew me will die, and it won't matter. Or I could do the worst thing in the world, and eventually I'll die, and it won't matter. And it's like, very true.
Yeah.
Like, our legacy doesn't live forever.
Yeah.
And as soon as the people that knew us are gone, then it doesn't matter in the course of human history.
Yeah, like, even if
people we never know of.
Even if you get your name written on whatever, like a building, like, what if there's no more people on the planet that can read English? Nobody cares. Nobody cares
Exactly.
about your name on the building.
Fuck yeah.
You just hit a chord with Nate.
You got your name on a building, but no one fucking reads English anymore, so it's just fucking letters. Fucking symbols that they can't.
It's just random symbols. They're like, mysterious.
Right? Yeah, me and my wife would be laying in bed sometimes, and I'll look at her, I'm like, we're having a meaningful ass conversation right now, but to somebody that doesn't speak English, this is just fucking noise.
Just Sims characters, yeah.
Yeah, language and life in the world is just so interesting in that way.
Yeah, and also just like me being like, Spanish is my native language, so like also just trying to get the people around me to just start speaking Spanish so I can go back to that. Because I spoke so much Spanish as a kid, and at home, like, my parents will only allow me to speak Spanish with them. Like, I'm not speaking English at all with my parents. It's just at school or at work or whatever, so when I'm living with them, it's all Spanish. But when I was going to school, like, I went to UC Davis, so it was like 9-hour drive away from my house in San Diego. I was living with just friends, and I didn't really realize the magnitude of the transition of just only speaking English, like, pretty much all the time, especially except with, like, my Mexican friends. Just like being in the music scene, like, it's a bunch of white people, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So most of my friends were white people who did not speak Spanish. So I just unconsciously was like, okay, I guess I'm speaking English all the time, no problem. But I miss it, so I'm just teaching my girlfriend Spanish, and we live together. So I'm just like, fuck it, Spanish household now.
Dude, that's badass, man. Let me ask you this: when you think or dream, is it in Spanish or English?
Fuck, I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, that's a common one, but that's a good one. I would say I think in English mostly now, but I dream in Spanish pretty frequently, like more frequently than I think, even because I don't remember most of my dreams. Although, I remember like the most vivid one, but I definitely have a lot of dreams every night, and some of them are definitely in Spanish because like sometimes I wake up and I'm like, my girlfriend tells me I'm like saying shit in Spanish, like babbling to myself or like going like, "See."
And the Spanish elements in your music, because I recognize like some cumbia and like some like reggaeton in there, just because I love Caribbean and like Latin beats. Are those intentional, or is it just kind of a byproduct of all the influences that you've listened to?
No, they're definitely intentional. They're definitely, especially the cumbia. I just been listening to a lot of cumbia, like because like I was raised on a lot of Latin American music. My dad's a huge like salsa head, and like just Afro Latin music in general. But cumbia specifically, Mexican cumbia is a little different from the kind of music that the kind of cumbia that I listen to most often, and it's like Peruvian and like South American cumbia. It's like can be very like psychedelic rock influence, and just weirder, I think, less based on like traditional musical structures and more just like out there. But I've been listening to a lot of like chicha, which is like Peruvian cumbia, this in the past like 3 or 4 years, and that's definitely changed my like rhythmic sensibilities.
And earlier you talked about producing for other people. So like,
Yeah.
Do you like make beats, or when you say like produce for them and mix for them, what do you exactly mean?
I just mean like when I was in college, I was just making beats for people, like just for additional income and stuff, like hip hop beats, trap beats, like ambient lo-fi, like hip hop beats when that was a thing. Just like clean like guitar beats or whatever, just to put online. And then I've like mixed for people. Sorry, but that's it.
And where does the name Shoefinger come from?
It comes from when I was in college. One time I just like we're hanging out, like probably pretty faded, and I being a Spanish native speaker, I forgot the word for toes, and I was trying to explain to someone. I was trying to have a conversation about something about my big toe probably, and I was like, you're fucking, your thing, your shoe finger.
I love that.
Yeah, I thought that was too good to pass up as a band name.
And why would you probably be talking about your big toe instead of the other four?
That's
nothing wrong with your big toe.
No, it probably just hurt or something, and I just talked too much.
I mean, the big toe is the one you hurt the most. Either that or the.
Yeah, and I play soccer, so I probably had just come back from like playing soccer, and I was like, "Fuck, I fucked up my big toe or something."
Damn, bro, you might have CTE.
In the toe, yeah, in the. No, yeah, I did probably have. I mean, I got a lot of what is it called? Concussions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got like 3 or 4 concussions from playing soccer. Some mild, some not mild. Because I was the defender that goes up on the corner kicks to header it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was short, but I could jump hella high. So I just go up from the defense, and then like, it's man-to-man coverage. So when someone comes in from the defense, they're not covered. And I'm like sneaky as hell. I could just go like, weave between people, evade coverage, and just like hop up, score off the corner. But I mean, hitting the ball was so hard with my head all the time.
Yeah.
Not good.
I like that you play soccer rough though, because back when I was in Georgia, I had 2 places I could play pickup games.
Yeah.
And one game, like if you went home without bloody shins, like you didn't play.
Yeah.
Another game, like if you barely bump them, like they're trying to gang up on you and fight. I'm like, you're playing fucking soccer, man. It's a contact sport.
Yeah. Well, if you go to the type
tennis.
of if you go to the type of place where like if you shoulder check someone, it like starts a fight, you should just not go there because
I went twice. I'm like, I'm gonna get my
it's not
ass
worth
kicked by these
going.
guys.
Because people like you're going there probably by yourself or with the homie. Everyone else already knows each other, and like even if you're in the right, like everyone's gonna gang up on you. Everyone's gonna be mad at you for like something, whether you actually did something worth getting mad at or not. And also, I play dirty. I'm a defender. I'll shoulder check anyone. I don't care. So I end up having to burn bridges at soccer fields.
Yeah, soccer should be a war.
I agree. I mean, I was raised by someone who was a semi-pro soccer player in Mexico at some point. So like I learned how to play, the right way.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's something. Two sports that people don't realize concussions happen in a lot is fucking soccer and NASCAR. Not NASCAR, just driving cars in general. Like,
oh, I see that. I hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah, man, you get in that wreck and your fucking head.
Yeah, you're constantly getting bumped like this.
Bruh, like that's fucking concussion.
And they could at least make the head rest soft, and I bet you anything it's hard as hell. Because they're like, they got a helmet. I bet you anything it's like extremely firm leather, like no give. Yeah. You're just like
hitting a brick wall with the back of your head.
Yeah, like if you're in a plastic helmet, you can't tell if that's leather or just like concrete.
Yeah, dude. Concussion after I didn't realize it until Dale Earnhardt Jr. did a podcast. And I was like, let me watch it. And he was talking about like having 18 concussions. Like, holy.
Yeah, that is too many fucking concussions.
Dude, how he's still talking, I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, like I think concussions, way milder than CTE over time. Although they can probably, if you get enough concussions, that probably leads to CTE. But like,
exactly, that's what it is.
But honestly, the 3 or 4 times that I had them, it was fine. It's just like a day's rest, and I think it kind of rattles your brain in a way that might also create more neuronal connections. So I don't know if it's all bad.
Right?
Yeah.
So like one more thing on your concussions. With your concussions, like what was the symptoms? Like, were you throwing up? Did you have headaches? Like
what are the symptoms?
Yeah, like after you had the concussion, like the next day, you said.
Oh yeah, you just feel like the next day you just feel like the worst headache you've ever had, but also like it's a very dull, like you're like in a fog. It's just complete brain fog, and like you're not even really there. Like you can't really drive, or you can't really like it's hard to even like walk fast.
That is not healthy.
No. But it goes away.
Yeah, I never got one when I played football, but I saw my buddy Paul get one time, and the coach was like, "Hey, if you're not on the field, keep him talking."
Yeah. Because like, if you rattle your head, like you go into a coma.
Yeah, like his eyes were just bouncing around his head, like independent of one another. He couldn't speak. It was weird.
Yeah, I've seen some head trauma, and like I played soccer at like a really high level in youth soccer, and I saw some wild shit. Like I saw kids like dislocate joints, like their shoulders, and then like go to the sidelines and be like, "Mom, pop it in."
Oh my
God. And then mom's like, "Oh yeah, for sure." Slap on the ass, get back on there, champ.
Oh my God,
get back out there.
Like as an adult, like if that's your job, I see that. But being like 8 years old, I'm like, "Hey mom, hook me up."
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, it's like state championships, like this, like at the end of the line, like you have no choice.
That's crazy. Yeah, Nate and I were just talking yesterday. Nate watched Tom Brady's documentary.
Oh, for sure.
He's like, yeah, my first Super Bowl, I was actually back up to Drew Bledsoe. Drew got hurt, so I had to finish out the season, and I won the Super Bowl. And it's like, can you imagine being Drew and being like, I put in so much fucking work, and this guy just won my Super Bowl?
The sub comes in at the last second, bro.
Those 8-year-old kids were like, fuck that, the alternate's not taking my spot.
Yes.
Yeah, you ain't taking
I
my
mean,
spot, mom.
that's all the glory. I mean, and of course, Tom won the fucking the championship. He's been chilling this whole season. He's got time
Right.
to get strong,
Super
throw
fresh.
balls. He hasn't had like all the fucking repetitive stress injury of throwing the ball for the whole season.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's
I
way
mean,
looser.
Patrick Mahomes just did that 2 or 3 years ago. He was number 2 and number 1 went out. He won the Super Bowl.
He came in. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. I don't watch much football, but I like him.
Hell yeah. What who's better, Ronaldo or who's the other
Messi?
guy? Fucking Messi. Who's better?
Messi. Messi.
All right, well that's ship sealed and delivered. We got that.
No other answer is correct.
Bet your life on it, Nate.
Messi.
Yeah. I mean, people. Yeah, Ronaldo is very consistent, but he's not very fun to watch anymore. Ronaldo's like a very powerful striker, and he's very reliable, and he's like clutch, but he's just like bumbling to me. He's just like a big sloth, just like he's like hard to evade. He like will juke you and stuff, but he doesn't look that clean with it anymore. He looks like a robot that was like trained on Ronaldo moves and just executes perfectly 100% every time, when you're just like, okay, but like where's the flair?
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like Michael Jordan when he came back from retirement. It's like,
Yeah, and
you're a
Messi,
shell of who Jordan is, but no.
Yeah.
Messi is just the creative genius, and I'm always gonna get behind that. Messi's just you have no idea what he's gonna do to you, like whether he was 17 or where he's like 35. You have no idea. You have never seen what he's about to do to you before in your life. And like your legs are like twisted and like in your shorts.
Right.
There's no way you can win.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
It's beautiful seeing people play at the highest fucking level. To pivot back to music a little bit, what I don't remember I have his name written down, but I'm not gonna try to pronounce his last name. Nicholas. I think it starts with a V. What influence does he have on you? Because I know you mentioned him on your Instagram a couple years back.
Nick Veinoglou.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's kind of like a huge Instagram guitarist now. Like he's like sponsored by Fender. He makes music. He makes the videos for Pickup Music, which is like the biggest platform for music like in the mainstream on Instagram right now. But I was like learning guitar songs. I was learning like Little Wing, like Jimi Hendrix songs from him on YouTube when he was like 7 or 8 or some shit like that, bro. He was like a young prodigy, just like probably from like a family that was pretty well off, because he's just like, you see like an 8 or 9-year-old kid with a nice ass guitar, full Marshall stack behind him in just like a suburban house somewhere, just shredding the hell out of Little Wing, and like with like tutorials, like tabs in the comments. And this was when like YouTube was first coming out, and I wanted to learn like guitars on YouTube from like someone who looked like me or someone who was like my age, because like it was all like boomers and like it was all acoustic tutorials, and I had this like super ratchet electric guitar from Toys R Us, and I wanted someone who matched my energy, you know. Yeah, and so he was just like a young prodigy teaching YouTube lessons on like guitar stuff, and that's how I learned a bunch of songs, and like his playing influenced mine a lot. And he ended up going to like Berkeley, and eventually like becoming a touring guitarist.
On any instrument, do you remember the first song that you learned? Or let's go with guitar. Do you remember the first song you learned?
The first song I learned, I'm gonna say it might be the fucking Harry Potter theme.
Oh
Dun,
Interesting.
dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that one.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure I was just like watching Harry Potter or something, like looked up the tabs, and yeah, because my first guitar was a classical guitar. I was gonna say I have it, but I put it back. It's just like a 3/4 size, like young adults classical guitar, nylon strings, and that Harry Potter theme sounds dope on the classical guitar. So once I learned that song, I was like, yo, this sounds insane. So I just like I kept mastering that. I learned it really, really slow because it's not that easy for a first song. There's like more than 3 notes. Usually like the first song is like, and then after that I learned like the Iron Man. I learned Iron Man and like fucking the White Stripes song, Seven Nation Army probably.
Yep. Yeah, I think mine was probably like Deep Purple's Smoke on the Water.
Smoke on the Water, yeah, that's another mandatory.
Right.
I think that was my 4th or 5th because my first was Lenny Kravitz's Fly Away.
Oh, that's a really good song, yeah. I want to fly away.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I got that CD in my fucking car, but that was my first, and I don't remember what the other ones were, but I know like my 3rd, 4th, or 5th was Smoke on the Water.
Yeah, those are all really good songs, especially because they're mostly all on one string. They're really good songs when you're first learning because it's like 3 or 4 notes that you have to learn, and they're all on one string, so you don't really have to worry. You can play them all with one finger. You don't really have to deal with these guys.
Exactly. Yeah, I heard someone's. Hold on, Bob.
I was just gonna say you gave a little bit of your vocal chops right there, and you have one song on the new album where you sing in Spanish a little bit. What were you talking about?
I think there's 2 songs that have Spanish lyrics, but there's one that has like actual lyrics, and one there's like mostly just like vocal chops, like a couple random lines. I think you're talking about Canon has like at least 2 verses that are in Spanish. And it's mostly just like talking about me being comfortable, talking about like getting out of a funk and being in a happy fucking stable relationship, which is nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, how do you just it's like kind of braggadocious, but it's in Spanish, so nobody can tell. Nobody's making fun of me.
Dude, I love listening to music in like other languages, and I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying, but I can feel what they're trying to convey.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like I talked with Bobby and some other friends about this. I don't remember what the other songs were, but I was like, my favorite Michael Jackson song from when I was a kid was "You Were Not Alone." There was a couple of other songs, and I was like, wait a minute. These are all like breakup songs or relationship songs. I'm 7 years old. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know what, but, and then someone said, which was Tiffany, she was like, yeah, but you can hear the emotion. You can feel that they're going through something. And though you haven't been through that same thing, your human nature and instinct kicks in.
Yeah, definitely. As a kid, like I also listened to hella romance songs just because like the only American music media that my parents really showed me at all as a kid was like black R&B, like Sade and shit, like Luther Vandross. That's the only American music that my parents listened to. Yeah, my dad loves Luther Vandross. Like I grew up like him driving me to school with Dance with My Father, the album in the CD radio, the CD thing. Just like every day, and either that or like salsa.
That is really cool.
Interesting, man. Yeah,
that's a very unexpected like mix there.
Yeah, but I mean, if you listen to my music, you can kind of tell probably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, and yeah, that's I don't know, that is beautiful. And
yeah, just like not really understanding what was going on, like in the lyrics, but like understanding that kind of like yearning or whatever that feeling is, like a lot of in a lot of R&B songs, like especially I have incredible nostalgia when I hear Sade ever, because it's almost like crib music to me, like music that when I was in the crib. It's like extreme, like songs that you remember like almost from a previous lifetime.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I like about what Bobby was saying, because he was saying, you know, like, I like listening to music in languages I don't understand, but you can still get the feeling, or you get a different feeling and don't have to have the noise of the lyrics in your head. Like you get the. That's why I love instrumental music, because
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah,
it's what you're feeling at the time, and what they were trying to convey might be two completely different things. But I might hear one thing, and you're like, "Oh, damn, I wasn't feeling that way at all." You know.
And and with instrumentation, like there's no way you can clearly define like what the artist was trying to say, so you can't claim to be like, oh, like that sequence of 12 notes in that Chan song like definitely meant this, and if you don't think if you don't think it meant this, like you're wrong. There's no one saying that in instrumental music, whereas like in rap or in pop, like there's like a bar that clearly means something that people think, and like it may not exactly be what the artist intended, but there's a consensus on what people think that it means. And that's why I think it's like genius, like stuff like that exists. And like you can comment, like I've had the experience of like knowing an underground artist and like hearing their lyrics and like going on Genius and being like, this is wrong, like this is not correct, this is not what he's saying, and like offering submissions, and then Genius being like, no, you're wrong, like this is the correct thing. And I'm like, bruh, I learned English as a second language and I can speak it fluently, bro. I can tell that between the different dialects of English, like I can tell what people are saying, and like these fucking white kids in like from New Jersey on Genius are like, no, he's definitely saying this a thing that makes no sense.
If you notice it, it's always a like country artist, like anyone from the South. So Lil Wayne, NBA YoungBoy, Lil Baby.
Yeah, especially and especially anyone from the South. Yeah,
because we have that vocal inflection that other people don't, and it kind of mumbles together, and they make it mumble together, but in a melodic way, and just other people do not understand what the fuck that's. And I don't understand what the fuck Kodak Black is saying,
but it takes a lot of I think it takes a lot of listening to each artist to be able to understand fully everything that they have to say. But I can pretty much understand what Kodak is saying most of the time. But like Thug, I can only understand because I've listened to so much Thug. Right. If I hadn't listened to that much Thug or Future, I probably would only catch like every couple of lines. Right. Like I know that I'm a fish on the sofa or whatever would definitely catch me by.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, Thug, he definitely, just the way he talks in general, but you know, he puts it into his raps in such a weird way in a cadence that you'll miss a lot of shit.
Yeah, and honestly, I treat Thug like instrumental music. Like he's like a guitarist, like Uzi too. Oh, Uzi's a guitarist with his vocals.
Their voice is an instrument.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I just went and saw Tech Nine and Ritz, and I left with a feeling of their vocal patterns are basically horn patterns from jazz.
Yeah. They're saxophonists and guitarists and vocalists. Yeah, I think about that all the time. Yeah, especially like Uzi. Like I play guitar along with like every Uzi song all the time, just because he's so melodic. Like I'm thinking about just doing that. I'll put that on TikTok because I think people would like that. But like it's so cool because like he writes like guitar hooks but with his like vocal melodies, and it's like it's not just one hook, it's like 15 flows, so it's like 15 different like slightly different guitar like melodic variations, and like yeah, he's a songwriter. I don't know, you don't really have to understand exactly every word.
but it's beautiful because you said you're 25, I'm 31, so it's like I'm like in the old head category. Like most people my age are like fuck Uzi, but Uzi, his cadences and his flow patterns are fucking out of this world, man.
Yeah, yeah.
2015 Uzi or 2020 Uzi, like
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
it's crazy, man. And I mean, so yeah, I
Yeah, like if honestly, yeah, Uzi has influenced me as a guitarist just as much as probably like fucking Santana.
yeah, his voice is an instrument. So yeah, definitely do. I think that'll go on TikTok. And even if it doesn't, some people are gonna I think that'll be badass. I'll enjoy it.
There's definitely some people doing it, but like I'm gonna do it better.
That's why I like to fucking hear. I mean, they're doing it, but what I'm working on, it's gonna be a little bit better.
Right? They haven't heard Shoefinger yet.
Nah. They're not ready for the Uzi guitar TikToks with the tapping on them.
Hell yeah.
They only know the melodic, like the blues rock guitarists playing Uzi songs, and they're like, "Oh wow, that's very urban."
Love it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Fuck.
So earlier I was asking about physical merch, and you said not yet, but you're working on cassettes for your productions.
Or Seré, yeah.
Yeah. I want to hear about the details on that.
Yeah, well, so my dad has a cassette collection that I inherited recently that he got from living in Japan. For a while, he had a bunch of like Japanese pop CDs and shit that he brought back. And when I moved out, I was like, "Can I take these? I want to like sample shit, cut them up." He's like, "Yeah, sure." So I started listening to music a lot on cassette and sampling cassette and putting cassette noise from my cassettes and my cassette deck into my music, and then like chopping people's samples like on request through cassette tape. I started like learning how the cassettes work and like how tape works and stuff, making tape loops. I just really like how it sounds. It's really crunchy. It's very like wide. It's really imposing. I listen to vinyl a lot, and that's like it feels different. Cassette feels like it's something else. And I want to have that experience with my own music because I just think it'd sound cool. So even if no one bought it, like I want it to exist. I'm gonna will it into existence.
Hell yeah, that sounds really cool. I grew up on cassettes, but I haven't listened to a cassette in so long I can't tell you what it sounds like. We listen to a good bit of vinyl here at the house, but it's mostly just headphones and streaming stuff these days.
Yeah, it's just like the amount of like especially on older cassettes, the amount of noise and like crackle is different in quality and quantity to vinyl. Like they're usually cassettes, the older cassettes are more prone to like crackle, but the kind of crackle you get is very listenable. It's very like comforting almost. Whereas some types of vinyl crackle are like pops and are not as fun to listen to. You're just like, oh shit, there's like a pop or like a really loud, just like pop. It's like cassettes, like when they're degraded or when they're older, they still sound really musical even with the noise, with the like the crackles. Like it just adds a kind of like an atmosphere, like a just like white noise background. It sounds really nice. I think it's very warm. It's like a blanket.
I feel like some people hear music and some people see it, and the way you just explain that, like, do you think you like see music sometimes?
Definitely, yeah. There's definitely some aspect of synesthesia. Like I definitely see certain things as colors, like numbers and letters and dates, like calendar months. Definitely different, like all different colors. So not like when I listen to music, I don't explicitly see like colors, but if I close my eyes, I can pretty much see like I can like watch a movie created with just like what I'm listening.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like when I hear people talk about any aspect of like synesthesia, it's just like, whoa! It almost sounds like your life is a mushroom trip if you put on like a good album without the drugs.
Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah. Like, it's nice to just like be able to close my eyes and listen to music, and like, yeah, it's really like my brain puts on a movie. It's just like I just see animation, just like random shit morphing into each other.
What's your favorite guitar that you own right now, or that you've ever owned?
The Telecaster, probably. I really like my Tele. I just got it like a year and a half ago, but it's definitely the best guitar I've ever owned. I haven't had that many. I had my classical guitar, which was the first one I got, and pretty immediately after that, I got the electric guitar from Toys R Us, and then I got a slightly nicer electric guitar from like my guitar shop when I was in high school, because I was joining the bands and stuff. And then I had that guitar basically from sophomore year of high school, which was 2015. I think. Wait, no, that was college. Sophomore year of high school was 2011. So 2011 up until like a year and a half ago, I just had the same guitar. That one is just like like kind of like an Epiphone. There's an Indonesian version of a Gibson Les Paul. It's a Samick, and that's what I've used up until like a year and a half ago when I got the Telecaster, semi-hollow. I don't know if you've seen it on my Instagram.
I suck at guitars. Like I know what you're saying, but if I look at a guitar and I can
show you. I can show you. Just let me stop my video. What's it?
Fuck yeah! This has been good so far. I'm liking it.
You want to know what's funny, Nate? Talk to me, bro. You're sacrificing yourself outside with 3 pairs of socks, 5 hoodies to show people the beautiful snow of North Georgia. But you're so quiet, I don't think they're ever gonna see you on video. You haven't triggered the video icon at all.
Dude, it hasn't lit up green around me at all. Wait, I'm gonna scream. Hey!
Look. Oh, there you go.
Hey!
I can see you.
That's amazing.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I saw that shit drop.
Yeah, it's a broken table to start off with. Well, I'm not in my beer. Yeah, dude, that fucking. Oh, you can see me again. Hey, look, this is what has been going on for the past hour.
And that's why I moved 5 hours away. Fuck that.
No, I love this shit.
No, Wendy and I were talking though. Like, it's almost a good payoff for winter. Because, like, at least you get to enjoy the pretty snow. Like, us, it's just
you get
cold
to see
and
the
rainy.
snow.
It's so beautiful, man. I love snow. Like, I would hate to have this constantly, but that it happens, like, once a year. I love it.
Sorry, my monitor went dark.
Oh, my fucking table.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, we saw the telly for a second, but then it cut out.
Oh, yeah, I'll show it. It's just my monitor.
But your background's so pretty, I can deal with that for a second.
Right. Okay. It's all fucked up, but it works. Oh, you can see me again. Hey.
Hey, there's Nate, everybody. I was thinking that. I was like, man, this feels a lot like Captain Party Tits, where I was never seen. You just hear this random voice, and it's like, who's talking that we can't see?
Oh, man, I'm so frozen. Like you said, I'm sacrificing, and no one can see. Oh, that so I got snot coming down my fucking nose. My feet are frozen.
Oh no!
This is so stupid.
Oh, I love it though.
Oh man.
Yeah, so Fernando, if you haven't met anybody that's ever worn 5 hoodies at one time, Nate's wearing 5 hoodies right now.
I feel like I've gotten pretty close to that. I think I've worn like 3 or 4 hoodies at the same time, but that's pretty tough to beat.
Yeah, that might be like a world record, man. You might want to turn that in.
Bruh,
Yeah,
Guinness for sure.
No, I can fit on more.
Because here's the thing, like, why would anybody ever do that? Like, it's probably not even a record. You can start the record.
Yeah. Beat 5, motherfucker.
Oh shit!
Oh, hell,
I'm gonna wiggle my power cable. We'll be right back.
I bet your beer is really cold though.
it is. Which I don't like. I like room temp beer.
Yeah, that's kind of gross because you drink really cheap beer. I can't imagine like a Budweiser at like 72 degrees.
Dude, I hate, like, I'll drink cold beer, but think if you're gonna shotgun a beer, are you gonna shotgun a cold beer or a room temp beer?
I haven't shotgunned a beer in probably 10 or 15 years, but I would say cold.
You can't chug a cold beer. This shit hurts.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't go to college, and I didn't have like college friends, so I didn't really shotgun beers back in my day.
Well, if I can't shotgun it, I don't want it. And I personally can't shotgun cold beer. So, give me room temp.
Now, like, if you like the texture of a room temp beer, you should go get like a really nice German or Dutch beer, because like they put a lot of spices and shit in their beers, and they're meant to be drank warm. Like they taste better when they're warm. So if you like a cheaper beer, go get you a nice like Belgian.
Yeah, I like Heineken, and I drink that room temp because it tastes better. Like the colder it is, the more you can't taste it. If you think about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, eat some cold food and then eat some hot food and see which one you can taste more. It's gonna be the hot food.
Yeah, and like if you go to like a craft lounge, one thing you won't see is gonna be a frozen mug. Frozen mugs are at places where they sell cheap beer.
My monitor chose right now, I guess, to die inexplicably.
Wow.
So I can, you can probably see me, but I cannot see you at all.
Oh, okay.
I can pretend that I see you guys and show you the guitar again.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, that is really beautiful.
Yeah, I like the metallic looking pick guard there.
Yeah. And I changed the pickup configuration because this was before it was just a Telecaster like single coil, but I put a humbucker in here.
Really cool.
That's your most prized possession, but what's your dream guitar?
Oof. There's a couple of like random independent guitar makers on Instagram that I like that I would like to have guitars from, just like small batch guitars that I think would be really cool. I do want to try the Strandbergs, like the headless ones. I haven't had a chance to, but apparently they're really light. Like feels like not playing anything at all. Just feels like, but I kind of like the weight, like especially coming from the Les Paul. Yeah, those things are heavy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm used to that. The Tele feels extremely light compared to that, so I don't know what I would do with something lighter. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. I like remembering that this thing used to be a tree.
Right.
I just got told yesterday that the guitarist from Queen, his guitar was made out of a fireplace metal. So that's where he got the tone from.
What? A fireplace?
Mantle, like the
Mantle.
part of a fireplace.
Yeah, I knew that he built the guitar that I can't remember what it's called, but the guitar that he uses is like just a variation of the first guitar he ever built with his dad.
Yeah, that's I guess that's a fireplace mantle shit.
Yeah, I didn't know it was from the fireplace, man. I could see that. Yeah, and it's got really cool electronics on it. It's got like he like hand wired it, so it's not like a regular guitar pickup configuration. It's got like all sorts of volume and tone controls. I think he's got the treble booster on there. That's why his tone is so sharp. He like there's a pedal called, I think it's the range master, something like that, range master tone control, something like that, that just makes your tone really sharp. And like that pedal, the guts from that pedal, he put in the guitar.
That's interesting.
So, yeah.
And I have one more question. What were you doing 5 years ago, and where do you want Shoefinger to be in 5 years?
5 years ago, I was starting college, so I was coming in, trying to meet people to make music with, and trying to get better at guitar and trying to learn how to produce. So now I'm finally in a place where I'm comfortable with production, and I think I can just get back to playing music with friends, and I'm able to, mix it and make it sound good. I want to go back to, that's the plan for the future, is to go back to just playing live, which has been hard in the pandemic, but like go back to playing with people and just going to house shows and playing dirty, disgusting basements and shit.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man. I want to say too, props on attempting Jaco Pastorius' portrait of Tracy. I was like, holy shit, look at that! Like bass isn't even his primary, and he's going for a classic one that's not very easy to play.
I really like that song, and that song kind of embodies Shoefinger ethos for sure. Like just the harmonics and like the melodic choices and the space that you can put between the notes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it has no specific tempo. I feel you can play it at pretty much any speed. You can play it really fast. You can play it really slow, and that kind of piece lends itself to like that kind of like flexibility that I like with covers. Just like playing it really emotively, not necessarily to a specific tempo. I think that's what I was trying to do with that specific cover. Just like play the melody, not so much play the rhythm.
Yeah, for sure.
But those harmonics in that song are incredible, and I try to do that stuff with guitar. So I mean, it was a hard song to learn when I picked. I started learning that like pretty much like a month after I got my first bass. So it was just like a challenge. It was just like, okay, like this is basically like rhythm guitar. Like, what is the hardest song that I can learn right now that would make me the best at bass in a short amount of time?
Yeah.
And then just grinded that song. And that's what I did with like charm songs and stuff like that when I was learning guitar. It was just like, what's the hardest song I could possibly learn right now that'll get my mechanics up, get my finger strength, like, and dexterity up to a place where I can fully express the music that I have in my head in like a complex way and stuff.
Yeah, and people don't understand that. Like, a lot of times I give Bobby praise on this podcast, but sometimes I give him a little shade. He used to make fun of me is I couldn't do power chords because my little 11-year-old fingers wouldn't stretch far enough.
Oh damn!
And he was like, "Just do it," and I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Teach me." He's like, "No," but but
damn. You couldn't even teach him.
Bro, he wouldn't teach me shit, man. He
wow.
Myself, you learn it yourself. But
That's wild.
yeah, man.
What I was teaching him was
Yeah.
It
self-reliance.
was a
The
lesson
importance of independence.
No, I was just an asshole older brother.
You're the older brother. I've been there. It's alright. I have a little sister.
I've loved this shit, man. Is there anything else that you want to leave the people with? Your friends, followers, family, enemies?
You know, to my enemies, I pray on your downfall. To my friends,
You heard it from him, not me.
to my friends, what up? Hit me up. I don't have COVID. Probably not gonna get it until the next variant, 'cause I already had it. We're out here trying to make some music. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hell yeah. Well,
I really enjoyed this. Y'all had some really good questions.
Yeah, man. Thanks for your time. We really appreciate you.
No problem. Yeah, I still can't see y'all, but I'm guessing you're give me some good smiles.
yes, we are. You'll be able to see it on the video that we upload.
On the video, yeah.
Well, you'll see me. You won't see Nate.
You'll never see me. You'll see me for fucking like 30 seconds.
I could see the little square. I could get the gist of what was happening, you know.
Right. Fuck yeah, man. Well, hey, this has been beautiful, Bobby. If you don't mind, let these bitches know what to do.
Stay black, motherfuckers.
Don't be whack. Boom.